Folks, Engineer 775. I'm on site at a system we put in 7 years ago with old Johnny Boy Valentine and Copperhead Electric. We built this system with to get ready for this old house. It was called the Future Home, highlighting these hydronic chillers. So that's 7 years ago. A lot has happened. We haven't been very happy over the years with the performance of these inverters. They've been very frustrating to the customer, and unfortunately, he bought like 42 of them. And that's a long story and a separate story. So I've been asking him for the last few years, like, please let me redeem myself and put some Sol-Arks in, okay? Pika came out about 6 months before Sol-Ark, and we ran with it. But the batteries became an issue, and they never parallel stacked, and that was a major issue. And there's issues. They promised islanding, that never happened. So we moved on. At that time, Generac purchased Pika, and well, we stayed away from it. We went with Sol-Ark, and that was the best move we could have ever made. So what we're going to do here is remove the Pikas. And we're going to put a 15K in here. Now, a lot has happened in 7 years. Of course, now we have the 200 amp pass-through. So what we're doing is just kind of because it's been so long, we want to make sure that we diagnose everything. The solar is still good, so we just figured that out. And we're about 500 feet, 600 feet from the solar. So we are restringing this array to make it work with the 15K better. So anyway, a lot of work to do. It's ripping and tearing day. I'm going to tear this down and rewire it with all 4-aught, and I'll show you that here in a bit. All right, so happy to swap out those Pikas for the Sol-Ark 15K. And we just shut the house down because it's time to do our grid feed over to our disconnect. We've got our bypass. We have room for another 15K. So thankful that we had 12-inch gutters here already. That was probably the nicest thing about this job. And we've got the Pites battery we're working with right now. You want me to guide that down there, boss? So a little wrestling, usual wrestling, and we'll get this house up and running. I'll show you what we're going to do. This is kind of a temporary on the battery, but we piped 30 kilowatt hours of lithium on over to there just to get going. So we just use the eBike 48 100Rs. They've been really good. So I just set this here. This is temporary, but there was the customer wants to show a piece of equipment off and how he can run it off grid, run it on solar only. And so we're working together on that. And so we got some combiners in there. And then we piped over about 20 feet with 4-aught Cobra Flex underneath everything over to the inverter. So, all right, we're going to hopefully wrap this baby up today and do some load testing here in a bit. So out here we did a complete rewire on the panels we put in 7 years ago. These were only 270 watt panels, non-bifacial. And as you know, we're up into the close to 500 watt bifacial modules now. But we were able to rewire this, remove the Pika PV Link optimizers, just straight DC couple. I've got strings of 11 here, and there is a potential. I've got the old shredder. I'm going to see if I can pound those posts. If the customer decides to add another array, that's what I'm going to do down there with that pile of ground mount there in the foreground. Okay, so anyway, so we're doing well with this. So I just came out and took everything off that was here, the multiple fuses, the PV links, rewired everything in the IMOs that were here. And then we're at 380 volt strings right now, which is kind of wild because that's what the PV links were putting out, 380 volts, within 5 volts of what they were originally putting out, but completely rewired differently to fit all of this in one Sol-Ark 15K. And it's a big old, things have changed so much, so fast. let's go look at the inverter. Okay, wrapping this up. We're running a lot of load through this inverter. The beauty of the pass-through. We've been up to 30 kW running through this single machine. I really need another one. This house could do 4 15Ks, but made a space for a second one, and got the bypass in place. We don't need to add another one of those. And then you can hear these chillers running. So what we're going to do as a demo, we're going to run one of these off-grid using the batteries we put in for the 15K, and provides hot water and cooling and heating for this home. So out with the Pika, in with the Sol-Ark 15Ks, and this was phase 1. We'll see if we do phase 2, which is build that solar array, and we'll continue on with this project. So I wanted to get this in to give the customer some confidence on the 15K and what its capabilities are before he stepped into the next phase, which is adding another one and possibly buying a bigger battery bank, and then adding that another whole like 19 kilowatts of solar to the system. So it's a big purchase, but I think we wanted to prove it to him first that it works. You know, it's up to 20K. All right, I turned the pump off so I could hear myself. I'll turn it back on. So it's a little noisy in here, but if you have any questions, let me know. Oh, there we go. We're up to 23,000 watts going through. I saw 30 kW going through the inverter, so that's impressive. And it's a wrap. So if you got any questions, need help on a system, no system's too small, no system's too big. This is Engineer 775 signing out.